Hey, what's up everybody? This is Dayron, Lagree Senior Master Trainer, and today I want to break down how to do the wheelbarrow. The first thing we want to focus on is the spring load. So traditionally when we start off in a wheelbarrow, the spring load is going to be, if we're on a micro, maybe one black spring. If you wanted to make it a bit more challenging, maybe you would use the one white super light spring, or if you need a little bit more of a modification, you can use two black springs. So that's the first thing we want to focus on, making sure we have the proper spring load to get us through the move. The second thing we want to focus on will be the form. So when we're working on a wheelbarrow, the first thing we want to do is make sure we have that perfect 45-degree line from shoulders, hips to knees. That perfect 45-degree blue line is what we call it in Lagree. We want to make sure we can maintain this form throughout range of motion, never allowing the hips to sink or our butt to rise up in the air. So the next thing we want to work on are the muscles being used in this particular move. The first thing, of course, obviously will be the core engagement. So we have that little pelvic tuck, that nice little hollow stomach, relaxed shoulders, long neck, straight arms, and if we're holding on to the rails, we want to make sure the knuckles are pointed down to the ground. And this would be the execution. Slowly extending the carriage away, reaching out while we're still maintaining, as you can see, the 45-degree line from shoulders, hips to knees. We don't want to allow the hips to sink down like this. When we squeeze back, we do not want the knees to tuck or the butt to rise in the air. At all points, we want to make sure we have this perfect 45-degree line going on. Then the next thing we want to focus on, the modifications and advancements in this move. So to simply modify this move, one thing would be, as I spoke of earlier, would be the spring load. So we can add one black spring if we need to modify. That's going to be the last option to modify this move. The purpose, we want to maintain time on attention. If we're taking time to change spring loads, that means we're losing that time on attention. So the easiest thing would be to simply cut range of motion. So you don't have to reach super far to feel this move work. If you extend the weight and you find that your shoulders are shrugging, arms are bending, hips are starting to sink, maybe that means the range of motion cut would be the perfect option there. The second thing would be maybe speeding the tempo, not too much. So currently, let's say in our wheelbarrow, we're working at maybe 6 to 8 going out. 6 seconds reaching away, as far as we feel comfortable reaching. 6 to 8, squeezing back in again. Now, with working at 6 to 8, the move is going to be a lot harder because we're moving a whole lot slower. So the muscles are going to be under tension longer, which makes them work harder, which is going to make the move a bit more challenging. So if we needed to modify, maybe we take that 6 to 8 and we turn it into 4 to 6. So we're not going to reach quite as far. We might make it to about the 3 line, and then we work it back from there. Now, to advance it, is going to be a little bit different. If we wanted to advance this move, we have a few options. One, instead of the 2 springs, we could put on 1 black or even that 1 white super light spring. Now, if we're already working at 6 to 8, maybe turn it into 8 to 10. So you're going to be working out a whole lot longer. Again, putting more time and attention on the muscles, taking longer to extend out. Okay? And then squeezing it back in on that same 8 to 10 count to reach away. And to be perfectly clear, while we're working this move, the focus would be to target our core, our lats, and our tries. That will be the focus. So you want to feel those muscles being activated as we work this move, okay? So we talked about slowing down the tempo to make this move a bit more challenging. Now, another way we can do this is also changing our placement. So if you notice, my hand's right here. This is about how far I'm going to go. Now, the more I move my hands up the rail, the further I'm going to be able to reach. See, now I'm getting a little bit more extension. I'm getting deeper into this wheelbarrow. I'm going to move my hands up a little bit more. Now I can get even deeper into this wheelbarrow. Take it one more step further. Reach all the way to the end. And see, now I could get even lower into my range of motion. Now, the next thing to do to advance this move would be to do it from my feet. So I've been on my knees working all variations of this move. But if I come up to my toes, this is going to make it so much harder. The core is a lot more active here. You have a lot more things going on with the core, your glutes, your quads, your shoulders. All things are happening with the legs being elevated to work this move. Now, even with that, even though that's going to be the most challenging version of it, you still have the options in that to advance it further by going even slower, modify it by going a touch faster. And when I say that, I don't mean super quick. I mean from 8 to 10, maybe 6 to 8, something like that. You also have the options to move your hands down the rail, giving you less range of motion. So even with the advancements, you can still modify a bit if necessary. So there's so many ways we can work this wheelbarrow, and no matter the fitness level, you can get the most out of it, whether you're doing it from your knees, whether your hand placement will be all the way down here or all the way at the top of the rails, whether you have on a super light, 1 black, 2 black, whether you're doing the move from the toes. All fitness levels can make this move work. Now, what we can say as well, with some people, it may be challenging to even be in this type of position. I've had some people, when I make this wheelbarrow more of a modification for them, I have them start knees beneath the hips and then extending out from there. I mean, you're still going to feel your core work. It's not going to be the same as being in this position, but this may feel a lot safer being here and extending out. You're still going to feel your core. You're going to feel your lats. You're going to feel your triceps to squeeze back in to that starting position. Just as long as we're still not shrugging at the shoulders, bending at the arms, things like that, making sure the knuckles are pointed to the ground so there are no creases in our wrists. And with every single move, we talked about the tempo, right? With that tempo, we want to also focus on the breath. We have to feed oxygen to the muscles so they can work more efficiently. So as I'm extending out in that 6 to 8 count, I'm breathing in with it. In through the nose, on that same 6 to 8 count, extending out of the mouth, 6 to 8 count as I squeeze it right back in again. So breathing is also a very effective part of how we make this move work. So with all of these things incorporated, we can do the wheelbarrow in an effective way to make sure we're doing it safely for one. We're not hurting our backs. We're not shrugging our shoulders, putting tension in our neck and traps. We're making sure we're keeping the wrist safe by pointing the knuckles down to the ground. We're keeping the stomach hollow with that little pelvic tuck to make sure we're keeping our low backs nice and safe. We're going at the right tempo, the right resistance, the right range of motion. All of these things for any fitness level will give you the proper form to make sure you're feeling the muscles the way they're supposed to so you can get the most effective results. Strengthening that core, shredding those shoulders, shredding those tris and lats. So I hope that was very helpful, and I look forward to seeing you guys again in the future, breaking down more Lagree moves.